I played a6, and you would be surprised, guys, but there are like 300 games. There are like 300 games on this position. Now, like for instance, I see like very recent 2020 Artemiev against Nepomniachtchi. So I played in my game. It's happened that my opponent played c4 in this position. c4. I went. Yeah, I went castle. He went knight c2. So as far as I understand, like maybe this is the place where, well, I mean, there was another move, like another funny move by Karyakin. I remember he won actually this game. He played knight b1. It's unbelievable. Guys, don't pay attention to the notation. I'll do it later. So he played knight b1, like transferred the knight on c3. So there are no rules here, right? I mean, also black piece is kind of like weird. The only thing is that, you know, I have pawn on e5, I have castle, I have development advantage, and even like, you know, I'm okay with the space, right? So yeah, knight b1, one of the moves here, like knight c2 was played in my game, and then I played rook a8. So I'm ready. Like if necessary, there could be bishop f8. You know, I saw the games also like black players played c5, then moved the bishop to c7, then d5. Also looks okay. Now here definitely my opponent didn't play well. I know that nowadays the main line is d3 in this position. d3, knight f3. No, not so bad. It's like English, right? There is, by the way, the second choice, g4. Yeah, I remember analyzing this. Like well, you know, it just cannot be dangerous, guys. Like you know, like how you can go with this kind of like strategy, right? Like having b3, bishop b2, knight a3, knight c2, and then suddenly g4. Not working really well. Yeah, so like really quickly want to go over my game. So the opponent played d4 in this position. I took e4, e4. Yeah, he probably, maybe he should have captured with something else, but that's not the point. e4, e4. So it seems like, well, you know, if white just completes development normally, you know, knight f3 castle, and then I have strange pieces, right? And maybe even d4, d5, some space advantage. I play b5. That's very important. Very important. It transpires, surprisingly, that if he, let's say, decides to take, I can take back, right? But I don't want. I have this very important bishop b7 intermediate move, and there is no convenient way to defend this pawn. What I mean by that like knight f3 will run into bishop f3, gf3, right? So that would be disaster. Like if he plays king f1, let's say he decides, okay, let's get the pawn, a b5, bishop b5. Then I remember it's a very powerful initiative here with queen coming to f6, knight coming to f4. I think like black is winning literally here, you know, guys. Now he went in this position after b5. He played knight a3. And remember how I mentioned, like we will see what happens with the bishop, right? So it's transpired that in this position, like, well, I just gave check, you know, not bishop f8, not bishop h2, but check, not bad at all, right? It's not a bad deal for me. King f1 and then d5. So it's obvious that, you know, I'm doing really well here. And actually it's clearly better, to be honest. He has no time to complete development normally. Like if he would have time, maybe knight f3, g3, but no. There are, like after c5, there was another issue, knight c4. So now I'm solving the problem of my misplaced knight on the edge of the board, right? So he took with the knight. I took with the pawn. Like there is no bishop c4 due to rook e1, right? And he played queen a4. That was interesting, like queen a4. Okay, I have very nice move, rook b8. Just rook comes to the good square. He decided to take the pawn. Anyway, the position is tough. Knight e4. And then I felt like, you know, it's a very strange, like probably a bad sign for white that on move 17, like, well, I have a threat mate in one. So knight d2, right? Knight d2. So he played knight f3. I played bishop g4. And basically, yeah, he played rook d1. I just took here and knight d2 and he resigned. Because after rook d2, bishop d2, there is rook e1, queen g5, like there is no defense, I think. You know, so it's not like exchange down. And of course, the bishop is hanging, right? Not to forget. So here we have this remarkable game. Once again, I remember when I played, it was 2008. There were like, you know, couple of games, I think, on this line, like not very much. not so many. So I thought like, well, bishop d6 is very nice. Now it's well-known move. Well-known move. Like if you, let's say somebody plays against you, you play bishop d6. If it's a decent player, he's supposed to be familiar with this opening, right? So now I saw this game Wei E against Wesley So, like 27-50 average, right? And Wesley So playing Queen E7. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? What is this position like? What is Queen E7? Then I thought, okay, it's interesting. Now everything not to play d6, which is passive, kind of, right? So Queen E7, I thought like, well, how it's what's the idea? Probably like queen side castle somewhere, maybe. Like that's one idea, and then I thought, okay, g6, bishop g7 is not another point. Now, okay, so here what I discovered here. Number one, first of all, I think it's the key point here. If white plays knight f3, always like this move is available, like, you know, it can be played on move 3, on move 4, and so we play e4 right away, knight d4, and what do you think, guys? How to justify our setup? What do you think? What should be the move for black? Queen c5. Okay, interesting. But still, the queen is a little bit strange. Yeah. So Frank mentioned if you already jump with the queen, of course to e5, guys. Of course to e5, and I think it's excellent position. I think it's excellent position here. There is no pin, like we threatening the bishop. So there is one correspondence game where white played after bishop c5, c3, but you know, okay, it was correspondence, and black didn't win. But you know, if we force c3, that means it's good results for us, right? Seems like we have space advantage, potentially queen g5 with attack, like awesome position, right? Awesome position. Now that's about knight f3. Now there was another remarkable game that played by strong Russian player, kind of like a new guy. He played knight e2 in this position. I think it's like top choice, remains top choice. Knight e2, that's very natural for this b3, bishop b2. Then a6, so we get in the bishop c6, dc6, bishop d6, castle. Now, how to make sense with our setup, right? So, by the way, knight e2 castle, it's all very thematic. Like I have seen a lot of games like that. Now, the idea at some point to play f4. Queen d6, we wasting tempo. No. So the guy just like remarkably like h5. So that's a clear statement. He's going to castle queenside, right? H5. His opponent played f4. Like what was actually Indian grandmaster, so like strong player as well. F4, not 2600, and after e4, I checked. This position is just clearly better for black. Just clearly better for black. You know, excellent position. So I think like we are kind of like sealed here, like no play in the center, right? And we are just going like move the bishop queenside castle, right? So like we probably have time if it's necessary h4, you know, and yeah, it's a great game here. Yeah, there was an f5 move played in this position, but it doesn't matter. I mean, let's say h4 was played, which is probably interesting. Maybe some ideas rook h5, h3, but let's say I don't see anything problematic if I just play bishop d7, queen side castle. Like it's very safe with the 4 pawns being our shield, right? I mean, awesome position, and so looks great. So I have the feeling that in this position, like Wei was not familiar. Well, maybe he knew, maybe no, but he played knight c3. It was literally novelty here. By the way, queen e7 again. It's not a main move. Well, not a new move. There are 40 games. 40. Crazy amount. So after knight c3, Wesley played a6. So we know like that's probably kind of the idea. Then attack the knight, and then if bishop c6, dc6, and maybe preparing castle. So I kind of like understand he didn't capture. probably I wouldn't capture as well. So he played bishop c4 in this position. Now, if we are like, well, what to do with bishop on f8, there is a solution. g6, no problem. G6, and so the idea just to have bishop g7, castle, just normal position, at some point b5, and so on. I think, well, you know, it's a chess pro league. I don't remember what is time control. It's 10 or 15 minutes. It's a quick games. Now he went h4. That's like not justified. Like that just shouldn't work. He played h4 in this position. To be honest, like I even let's say if black would play just d6 or bishop g7, not so clear because h5 knight h5 for now. Wesley decided to play h5 in this position, which allowed knight to g5. You know, so there was a price for this. But on the other hand, nothing wrong about this position. Just excellent game for black, in my opinion. Not so clear what white is supposed to do. We want, yeah, the big question, what we want to do next. Yeah, because if we play b5, maybe he will have knight d5, but we'll probably create some idea, maybe d5 for d5. Maybe this kind of regrouping, maybe. You know, you're probably not surprised with this type of play here already because it's somewhat an anti-chess, right, for both sides. But I think we have a reasonable setup. Also, I mean, I don't think he's very proud about his position on the king side with castle and h4, knight g5, right? So he went f4, and here's something strange happened. f4, I think, like, looks pretty bad to me. Yeah, so Wesley played bishop g4, very logical, queen e1, and then he played the move which is I didn't like, and that's it was a huge swing in the computer evaluation. So for instance, like, you know, one of the most simple solutions here is just to take and have the knight on e5, excellent square. I mean, we could have done this even before. Like, black is, in my opinion, like better. Or so there is this, or there could be e4 right away, e4 followed by knight e5. Excellent position. You can check this. Like, computer extremely happy about black position. Good results, right? Queen e7 worked. And overall, you know, guys, I mean, I used to play bishop g6, but I have 2 games in database. If I'm playing right now, I'll go for queen e7 because I know that somebody might prepare against me with queen e7, with bishop g6, right? So there is another tricky move, queen e7. So actually, like, I like this kind of moves. So it's like surprises, and you know, and overall, it feels very reliable, very reliable.